two pieces together, and is that what she was doing? Is that what they were doing? Oh, are you frozen again? We're having such trouble. Hi. Oh, you're back. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So, okay. So the last thing, I know our internet is so unstable today. It's so frustrating. So the other thing you have to talk to us about is, even though that's audio only, I've been mesmerized by the things behind you. So you've got very neat shelves of beautiful fabric, and they all look like they're on some sort of board. Tell me about the organization of your fabric.
So I started out with just a bookshelf, and I recently, my husband and I moved all my quilting stuff into our master bedroom so that I can fit my imaginary Longarm in here that I don't own and can't afford. But yeah, so we just put some shelving up in the back of the closet, and I've got everything rolled up on comic boards that I bought on Amazon.
On comic boards, yeah. And how my daughter always goes to comic book shops, and I always kind of longingly look at the comic book boards. How does that work? What quilters often do is buy their cardboard, right? Their cardboard comic books to make comic books, keep them like more pristine. But
right.
we use them to wrap fabric around. Is that right?
Yeah, so I had seen that on Pinterest probably. I ended up buying the magazine size boards because they're like 8 5/8 by 11 and something. So if you take your fabric straight off the bolt and it's got like the two selvages and the fold on one side, if you fold it in half just once more, it fits on there perfect. And then for smaller bits of fabric, I cut those comic boards in half. And then for like fat quarters, I cut them in half again. And then because I'm super neurotic, I was going to pin them because that's how I've seen it done, like at my favorite quilt shop in West Des Moines.
Yeah.
But I was worried about the humidity and whether or not the pins would rust and wreck stuff.
Yeah.
And I got a tip online. They were using shirt clips. So they're just those little plastic clips that come on like men's button-down shirts from department stores.
Uh-huh.
So,
do you order the shirt clips?
Yeah, you can get like 1,000 of them for $8 or something on Amazon.
Oh, shirt clips. Interesting. That's how you organize it. Well, it's very beautiful. You've organized it by color. Is that right? Is that mostly how you've organized it?
Roughly by color. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, I don't want you to see how I organize my fabric. That's really cool. And do you feel like having that kind of organization system where you can see everything? It looks like it's like a mini fabric shop in your closet.
Yeah, part of it is just that it looks pretty, right? If you have all your fabric out, you don't have to decorate. And then it's also nice when you're pulling fabric for a project. I feel like I'm more likely to use it versus going shopping.
Yeah.
If I can see everything, and it makes it a lot more fun to hold something else up to and see what's going to go with it.
Yeah. Now, how much fabric do you usually buy at a time?
So when I first started out, I bought a lot of fat quarters. And now, so we recently had a quilt shop here in Iowa that's like an hour and 15, an hour and a half from my house that went out of business.
Yeah.
So everything was like 70% off.
Yeah,
or
you got to buy them.
$1 a yard. So I was buying like 10 yards at a time. It depends on what it is, right? If it's something super that I just love that I think I might use as a focus fabric in a quilt, I might get 2 yards of it. But if it's just a blender that I would want to use in a scrap quilt, then I'll get a lot less, like more like a half yard usually.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very cool. Well, I think this is great. I really appreciate you talking to us about the octopus. I would love to follow your progress on what you're doing, and if other people want to tell me again a little bit more about what the what your blog is going to be and the Facebook group.
So the Facebook group, I think, is just a place to make it easier to interact. I think a lot of people aren't on Instagram yet, and Facebook feels super collaborative. Like people go there, ask each other questions. Yeah.
We
so
really found
I think the Quilt Along, we're still kind of drawing up an outline, but the plan is to kind of throw out a teaser and then give people the patterns that we drew up for our backgrounds and tell them, here, if you want to use one of these, here they are. And if you want to draw up your own, that's great too. And we can try to help. And just kind of post about it every week or so and let people know where we're at and see if they're playing along and want to show us where they're at.
And on your website, on the new website that's got, like, I think, like your first blog post, you also have shop, but you haven't put stuff up there. Do you feel like you think you might add a shop to your adventure? And if so, what do you think?
I think at some point we're drawing up complicated patterns of our own. We're going to try and post them there.
Very cool.
And Teresa actually already has an Etsy shop.
Yeah.
And she might move some of her stuff over to ours if we ever get to that point.
Very cool. And what does Teresa do? I mean, what kind of patterns does she make?
So Teresa has a she has a good patriotic flag one that she made.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a paper pieced one or if it's something simpler. To be honest, I haven't really looked at her shop that much.
Interesting.
But all three of us are very, like, half of the fun is figuring your own pattern out.
Yeah.
And it's hard as a person who can look at a quilt and draw up their own copy of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to buy patterns sometimes because I know I'm not going to follow it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, you know.
So I think that's totally okay because I think patterns are made for a certain stage of your development. That's my thought. Sometimes if it's like a paper piece pattern, like a Judy Nehemiah that's super fancy and like very complicated, and you need the materials. But I think that patterns are for beginners. Patterns are for people who just like patterns. You could be an advanced person, but you like patterns. But I think that it's like anything. I mean, I think it's like making clothing or costumes. You do get to a stage where you don't need the pattern because you know the physics of the world. So you don't need it. I mean, you can look at it and think, I know what that is. And so I think that's okay. You know what I mean? I think that's part of the world that you're supposed to start making patterns and contribute back to the culture.
Right. And it's sort of like when they talk about quilting by check, right? Like you don't have to like every part of the process. So if you like following a pattern, you follow a pattern. If you like drawing up your own, you draw up your own. Like it's, you just take the parts of the process that you like the most and do those the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, this has been delightful. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Will you come back and just sign up for time as you go so we can sort of follow your development? And again, if people like silhouette quilts and they want to do a quilt as you go, Quilt Along, the website is Quilt Your Own Adventure. Is it quilterourownadventure.com? Is that what it is? No, it's
we had .blog and then we bought the domain, so now it's .com.
Yeah.
I think it reads. So.
And then you're also on Facebook. So Quilt Your Own Adventure group. You can join the group, and it's just getting started. So quilt alongs are kind of what you're going to do. You're going to do a silhouette quilt, and you're kind of just figuring out as you go what else is going to happen. Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. This is so great. Anything else you want to chat about before we know that you're going to, we still want to do the octopus quilt. I want to see the octopus quilt. You're going to make a kit for the octopus quilt? You totally can because it's in the public domain. The octopus quilt is huge. Are you going to make it big like you did the other one?
Yeah, probably pretty similar size. It'll be whatever the biggest size they can get with a layer cake and 2 charm packs. So I think it'll be 7 or 6 by 9 or 6 by 7 blocks that are 9.5 each. So I don't know, 50 by 70 or something around that.
When you're making those big, I have to ask you, when you're making those big quilts, how are you putting them together? How are you doing the sandwich part of it? Because I never bake big quilts, but I am now, and I'm super frustrated. I want an easy way to put it together.
So usually I just turn up at Teresa or Steve's house and have them have them help me do it on their Longarm. But the few big ones that I've done at home, I've either done Quilt as you go, which it can turn out great, but it's fiddly and a little time consuming. So I either pin based it, which takes forever and isn't super fun, or I did one that I spray basted, and it was pretty easy. Like,
yeah, I've done that too. Right?
I didn't quite trust it, so I threw a few pins in there anyway, but it worked out great.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. There's supposed to be batting that you iron on the batting. Have you ever tried that? That's got the sticky stuff on it?
I haven't. I was worried that it would be stiff, but I imagine if the glue washes out, it'd be the same as spray basting it, right?
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's got to be a bit easier. But the long arm, I mean, like that would be a reason. Just that alone would be the reason to buy a long arm, because I'm really tired of the whole trying to get it right either on the ironing board or on the floor, or I just never make big quilts because I hate that process. It's just not fun, you know? It's just...
Yeah, I mean, you should try as you go. You might love it. I definitely enjoy the quilting part better when it's a small piece too, because then you're not having to, wrestle a quilt the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Leah Day, who you had on a few weeks ago, she actually mentioned she was renting Longarm time just to baste her quilt, which I think is really interesting.
That is interesting. I'm thinking of maybe trying to do that. Oh, goodness. Kitchen. Okay. I think that might be a way to go, is to try that, to do a local, just to see. Well, I'm trying this new thing of, they're both whole pieces of big cloth, and then doing applique once the sandwich is together, because I want to only stitch the applique. I mean, I only want to stitch the applique on, so that, does that make sense? So big hexagons. So I want to put the sandwich together, then I want to put the applique on, and I want to sew it through so that you can see the hexagons on both sides. It's like raw edge hexagon. So I'm
so it's almost like you're hand quilting to hold your applique on, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
Fun.
So, but that means like these big pieces that are unwieldy from the beginning. So it's like just annoying. So anyway, those are my...
Yeah, I had that feeling with this silhouette quilt, right? Because I had the whole top put together, and then I had to wrestle the thing the whole time I was doing the applique.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem for me was that the edges of my quilt top were fraying so much that I was worried when I did quilt it and put the binding on that I was going to lose all my points. So I bought some Fray Check, which is like a weird little glue, and that worked great for that. Really, so if you run into that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. Well, this is super cool. Again, keep us posted. Just sign up again if you've got progress or you want to talk to us about stuff. And I'm really glad that we had the hunt for the octopus. Can you send me a copy of the octopus, the image of the octopus, and then anything else that you'd like on your webpage? I would love a picture of the Calvin and Hobbes quilt, and anything else that you'd like, and also the one that you showed me in the interview, the English paper piecing. That would be great too, so that people, if they want to. And I'll put a link to your Quilt Your Own Adventure and your Quilt Along. And as we start to plan the Quilt Along, I would love your thoughts, because I haven't done one before, but people are really, I think we're going to try. First is trying to figure out how do we get a good price on the book. So that's our first thought, and then we're going to go from there. So.
Awesome. I'll look forward to it. Thank you.
Fab. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, Shelly, before you get off, are you cool with this interview? Do you need to review it at all, or are you okay with it getting posted?
No, I think it's great.
Okay, fabulous. Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a great day. It was fun.
Thanks. Bye.
So this is Elizabeth Townsend Guard. You've been listening to Just Wanna Quilt, a research podcast coming out of Tulane University Law School. We want to hear from you. Join our army, our quilting army. Go to our Facebook page. Suggest people to be interviewed. Suggest yourself to be interviewed. We are excited to hear from you. But most importantly, I hope you get a chance to quilt today.